Hello, this is Sunday, it's June 27th, and we are headed into the 8th week of our online astronomy course. You know, there's 14 modules. We've done 7, we have 7 to go, so we're right at the midpoint of the course. And I hope everything's going well for you. Hope you had a good week. And what do we have in store for us this week? The Jovian planets, the gas giant planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. And in fact, behind me here, you can see Saturn, the ringed planet. Let me move aside here so you can see it just a little bit better. And it's the only planet that has a substantial ring system. Now, it turns out that Jupiter has a thin ring, Uranus has some thin rings, and Neptune also has a partial ring. But Saturn is the only planet that has really a substantial ring system. These are huge number of individual little particles that are orbiting Saturn, and they are so thin that, as maybe you can see here, just looking out here, that you can see through them. So you can actually see through Saturn's rings. They're only about 10 meters, about 30 feet thick. So in this module, you'll learn about Jupiter, the gas giant, the largest of the planets, about Saturn, and about Uranus and Neptune. And not only that, but there's a lot of other smaller objects in the solar system. There are things beyond Neptune, and those are called trans-Neptunian objects, TNOs, trans-Neptune objects. And Pluto is one of those, and we know of a lot of others besides that. There's also asteroids that orbit between Mars and Jupiter. There are comets that we see in our skies, and in fact, some of you a couple of years ago may have seen comet Neowise in our sky. And so there's asteroids and comets and meteors. Meteor is a streak of light that you see coming through the air and then hitting the ground. So when it hits the ground, it becomes a meteorite. The streak of light is a meteor. And before it comes in, that chunk of rock is a meteoroid. So a lot to see, and I hope you enjoy learning about it. It is amazing because we have visited all of the Jovian planets. We've visited Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. We have visited Pluto and its moon Charon. And we have visited the second largest of the so-called dwarf planets. The largest is Pluto, and the second largest is the asteroid Ceres. So you'll learn all about them. So what is in the sky? Right now, it just so happens that all of the Jovian planets are lined up. So let me show you that. I'm just going to go to Stellarium. And so let's just take a look at what Stellarium has. Now, usually I show you Stellarium, and it's a view in the evening. This is a view at 5 in the morning. 5 in the morning, in fact, this morning, the 27th. And if you go out, you can see the moon. Now, the moon this past week was full. On Thursday, it will be a 3/4 moon. And so right now, it's halfway between full moon and 3/4. But what's really amazing is that if you go out around 5 o'clock, and actually I should be using past tense, this was 5 o'clock this morning, you would have seen the moon right under Saturn. And then the next day, the moon has moved more to the east, and it's going to bypass Jupiter on the 28th, Monday, and then going the next day to the 29th. It's bypassing Jupiter. There we go. Now over here on the left of the side of the screen, you can see the location of the planet Uranus. Now Uranus is too faint to be seen here on Stellarium, so it's hard to see. Now where's Neptune? Now to show you Neptune, I have to go into Stellarium search utility here and type in Neptune. So I'll do that. So Neptune, let's find out where Neptune is. And as you can see, it's right here in a line with Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus over here. I'll turn off the information so you can see that Saturn, Jupiter, and Uranus are pretty much in a straight line, and so is Neptune. Oh no, I've lost Neptune. It should still be at the center of the screen. So I'm going to zoom in and see if we can see Neptune. Here we go. Looks like a lot of empty space. Oh, there it is. There's Neptune along with its brightest moon, Triton. It has another little moon, several other little moons. But there is the gas giant, not a gas giant, gas middle in size planet Neptune. So Neptune, Uranus are pretty much twins. And then there's the much larger Saturn and Jupiter. So I'll just zoom out again. I've never seen Neptune through a telescope or Uranus, but it's really easy to see Jupiter and Saturn. And if you take a look at Jupiter, and now I'll just put Jupiter more in the center of the picture and zoom in on it. And if you zoom in on Jupiter, even with a good pair of binoculars, you can see the 4 Galilean satellites of Jupiter, Callisto, Ganymede, Europa, and Io. So I hope if you happen to be up at 5 in the morning, I hope you'll go out on one of these early mornings and take a look at Jupiter and Saturn and how they're all in a line right along the plane of the ecliptic, since all the planets in the solar system orbit in the same plane. Well, I hope you enjoy learning about all of this, and I hope you have a good week. As always, if you have a question, you can always contact me by email, or I'll be happy to set up a Zoom meeting, or come see me in my office. Until then, till next week, I hope you have a good week, and I will get out of Stellarium and say goodbye. So until then, bye-bye.